Hello, welcome to the Augmentation of Man. I'm Renee Miller.
I'm Kent.
Today, we're going to continue in our series on prophecy and the predictions that we received through ancient beings called the ancients. They are mentors of the Creator, teachers from the Creator. And this part is going to start a two-part series on the changes in the atmosphere because that is where all these changes are beginning.
Including Earth.
Yeah, so everything that starts in the atmosphere is what is affecting the changes here on Earth.
The changes are happening now, not farther down the road, not behind us. They are happening now.
It really started several years ago, and maybe even further back, because the energy comes in and it's unseen and it
No,
hasn't manifested itself yet.
no, the difference is starting now. What I'm trying to do is warn those to change the way they think, to become humble to the Creator, to accept nature the way it is, to enjoy nature and cherish it, not go with what they're doing, the big cities, the monetary influence, all those things that deprive the human race of its real reason why it's here.
And so today we're going to talk about these atmospheric changes that are going to create the change here on Earth, which has already began. The energies were coming through years ago. The plans were made thousands of years ago. And now we're starting to see the manifestation of those changes. So we're going to explain what is happening and why. And this is going to create a whole new paradigm for humanity. But there's going to be, with all these changes, there's going to be a lot of stress and turmoil and chaos that comes with it. And you can take this information and use it to your advantage to prepare.
To prepare yourself. You can't change what's coming now.
Mhm.
It's beyond the change level. Now you've got to accept the changes that are beginning to happen. You prepare yourself somewhat to accept some of these changes. But now the spiritual world and the physical world are tied together. And the atmospheric gases are all linked to create this new change. Those that will come out the other side will be the ones that will relish the new beginning.
So there are people who, at a soul level, already know that they're not moving into the next cycle. On the physical side, they may not be aware of that, but there will be a lot of people exiting at this time. So, can we prepare for that? I don't think we can fully prepare for it, but it is what we've been told that there will be a great exit. And it's because either a person at the soul level doesn't wish to go through these changes, or that they are not simply not ready for the new cycle that is at a higher learning and a higher vibration. They won't be able to understand the teaching that will be involved.
But when you change the gaseous makeup of this world, you change the physical world itself, such as the carbon, the oxygen, the nitrogen, everything that makes up the gases that we depend on.
Yeah, because our physical bodies are made of those gases,
So
only in physical form.
everything is being upgraded, not just here on Earth, but in this universal section. So a huge release for the instruction of the new paradigm is now beginning. The old paradigm is crumbling away, collapsing. Institutions are crumbling, and that's part of the old paradigm. There's no turning back now. We must accept these changes and bring them within our bosom to accept them and work with them. Those that who resist, hold on the old ways, will suffer the most. We must bring it in within ourselves, accept the change, and you will see the Creator will embellish itself within you when you accept these changes.
Hmm. So these changes are beginning in the atmosphere, and the atmospheric gaseous makeup is changing. And we're going to go through that. That will be bringing massive changes in the physical realm. So the physical realm and the spiritual realm are tied together by the gases that make up our atmosphere. And to begin, the Arcturians, who are another race on Arcturus, have been clearing the atmosphere for the past several years, a decade or so, clearing our atmosphere around Earth in preparation for these changes. So there is a huge collaboration of extraterrestrial entities, both physical and non-physical, that are working with natural forces to change the conditions here on Earth.
To show what the changes are with the various changes within the sun itself, the solar flares, the magnitude of the sun changing, um, different things are aggressively increasing in the last few months of this year. Releasing of gamma rays that contribute to gaseous changes. All these things are creating a new DNA, trying to create a new DNA in the human race and humanity. So we are so told that in the future, I'm not sure how far in the future, but we will become a gamma species.
And I believe that that's a result of these gamma rays that are coming from the solar flares and the solar,
Well, it's not just the solar flares.
the cosmic rays, a number of things, but that this background radiation is going to change our DNA along with the change in the electromagnetic field, which we'll get into in just a minute.
And that's going to be very soon. That change in the poles, the shifting will change the electromagnetic field. So all fields, including the magnetic field, are beginning to be rebalanced and changed. The energies have been increasing on all fields, and humans will feel this. The humanity part of the existence of this paradigm and these events will show itself very soon in the way humanity treats each other.
They our guides, the ancients, had said that there were going to be exceptional energy releases from solar phases that will also create a shift in the electromagnetic field, which is a part of the alignment to come. And now we are seeing these just in the last couple of weeks, especially exceptional solar releases. It goes back further though. There's been this huge hole in the corona of the sun, and that allows this these charged particles to flow out through a stream. And if it's directed toward Earth, which it has been, then it's going to hit our ionosphere. That ionosphere gets charged. It affects the electromagnetic field. It warps the field. And that also interacts with the Earth's iron core and causes that iron core to be stirred up, so to speak, and that causes friction, which in turn has an impact on volcanic activity and increases the volcanic activity and the earthquake activity, which we obviously have seen in the last week with this 8.8, and it may have been upgraded, but the earthquake off the coast of Russia. And that's just the beginning of what is to come.
Yeah, 2016, we noticed the shifts are beginning in the atmospheric gases, and the vibrational energy is beginning to change and start anew.
That's what
So-
our guides had said
So how
that
will
it
it change?
started in April of
Yeah, how will it
2016.
change? It'd be like the time of the dinosaurs. It'd be a higher oxygen level. So it'll be more, would you say, more green areas.
More
Not
water
all,
covering the
yeah,
earth.
not more water. Not all parts of the earth will will jump up into this, what would you call it, greenery or
Well, the way that it was described would be that some areas that have been arid will become have much more rainfall,
yeah, what's
and
wrong?
other areas that traditionally have had more rainfall in recent times will become more arid. So everything is going to change. And I would say if you live in the United States and you want to know where to move, if you're perhaps living on the west side of the United States, we would suggest you get out of there. Um, I would look at Gordon Michael Scallion's future map
Look at the Navy map.
or the Navy map. They're very similar. They're not going to be exact, but it will give you a good idea of what those areas are projected to have ocean and other areas that will remain land masses.
So with all this happens, to show where humanity has been, there has been an ancient tomb in Egypt, and where extraterrestrials left a gaseous chamber or gases, and the gases is called
Zizon.
Zizon.
They called it Zizon.
Yeah, that's the human term is. The tomb will be opened, releasing the gases, adding to the shift of the gaseous atmosphere in our surrounding Earth itself, which will change the chemistry eventually of our bodies. So,
And it'll make our neurological system and our
make
chemistry
us
a
more
little,
efficient.
yeah, it'll change to make us more efficient in our thinking process, where we can be able to decipher information
More quickly.
4 times the rate that we can
Yeah.
do now.
So,
And so there's this change in gaseous makeup is going to be as a result of the solar activity, a release of this Zizon gas that is in some chamber in Egypt. We don't know where. And we were told that extraterrestrials left it here for future time, such as now. And perhaps also because the oxygen level is going to go from 16% up to 22 and a half, and then from there
yeah,
up
it's
to
up to
26.
22 and a half.
It's going to start rising. And part of that could be because there will be much more water on the earth, and it'll be more humid. And the rain patterns are going to change.
Yeah, really changing.
So they said that there was going to be a lot more plants and creatures over the earth, but less humans.
Yeah.
And so the higher oxygen level is also a part of this gaseous change in our atmosphere. So
So,
you had spoken of this red sky before.
yeah, that I saw.
And there was an assumption in the last video that it was caused from volcanic activity.
You
But
said you said it could be.
yeah, and what I did was I went back in our notes and I found it, and they said that it was because of this energy coming in from outside Earth that it was going to cause our sky to turn red.
Yeah.
So it's not, this is a correction. It's not from volcanic activity. This is an extraterrestrial energy that will be coming in that is going to cause our sky to become red.
Yeah, and as she had stated, rain patterns will change. We've already seen changes at the beginning of the changes.
Mhm.
How it's affecting the DNA, I'm not sure yet because it hasn't manifested itself. The changing, people are getting more violent.
Yeah, we'll get into that because there's another reason for that.
Okay, anyway, the counterclockwise movement forms a ring-like pattern that the DNA attunes to, like a tuning fork. But we'll have to get into that in more detail later. Right now, we're just covering the changes that are happening.
And I suspect that this counterclockwise movement is like when you were looking at the northern hemisphere and storm patterns, particularly like hurricane patterns, they always move in a counterclockwise movement in the northern hemisphere. And what they're saying is that this has an effect on our DNA, and it's like a tuning fork where it our own bodies attune to that pattern. It's hard to wrap your mind around because there's not we have not been given any details as to how that exactly works.
Yeah. For those that don't know the clockwise and counterclockwise movement, flush your toilet and see which way the water swirls as it goes down. One part is from the northern hemisphere, one part is from the southern hemisphere.
Mhm. So our mentors and guides have told us that all these atmospheric changes cause a hostile environment, and that the storms will become stronger and other events will become stronger. So, and we're seeing that now. You know, we saw that here in Texas, where um, we had this massive flooding event. Lots of lives were lost, and it was very
There were
tragic.
flooding events all over the United States. And I think it was
Yes,
Georgia or North Carolina,
North
Texas,
Carolina,
and different
they're
places.
all over the
So
world.
things are changing in
China
the
had
overall
massive
China, et
flooding.
cetera. Yeah.
Yeah. So expect that these storms are going to become much stronger. And, you know, we should be prepared at least to have some water stored, clean water stored. You know, I
Well,
will
you may
empty.
not find clean water, but at least you can calm water and boil it
Yeah,
to
but
kill the bacteria that you can drink it.
what I had was going to say was that Kent will, he likes his juice. And so I'll take the glass juice container and wash it out and fill it with clean water and then just store it so that when we do have power outages, or if we have an interruption in the water or contaminated water, that we have a clean source of water readily available. You can also get rain barrels and have that filled. We've had a rain barrel where we just fill it from the tap water with a hose and take a rubber gasket and put it over the top where there's a filter for leaves so that it keeps all the dirt and leaves and debris out of the water. And then you have like 50 gallons that are handy. The one thing that I've noticed is that in when you do have an interruption, the biggest source of water use comes from the toilet.
Mhm.
And so it's probably a good idea to be cognizant of that. And during times where you don't have access to clean water, really avoid using your toilet after every use.
Or use contaminated water to
Yeah,
flush the toilet with.
yeah, because you
Yeah,
run out of water
yeah.
very quickly.
So the increasing volcanic and earthquake activity interact with the changing magnetic field. This we know. Okay, so the electromagnetic field has an effect on some people, not all people, and it changes their ideologies
It
somewhat.
it accentuates them. So the
Yeah,
people
well, that's
already,
changing it. Yeah.
it's ideologies that they already possess, but it accentuates it. It makes it bigger. So
Yeah.
then they act out on it and it changes their behavior.
So yeah, it creates a different behavior
And
of violence and chaos, disrupts their normal behavior.
yeah, and disorientation. And so when in these times, I think most people are very aware of this strange behavior in some people where they're acting on their ideologies in a very accentuated way.
Yeah.
And it might be good just to validate this, to watch for the solar flares and see if you see an increase in some of these,
Do
some of the chaos that arises out of
yeah,
these
do your own
ideologies.
study. When the solar flare begins, look for 48 hours or up to 72 when the solar flare hits Earth. Look for the changes in ideology, those that accentuate, to act on,
We're acting out.
yeah, acting out. And we know how this act out
Mhm.
happens.
It just doesn't make
And no, it
sense.
doesn't make sense,
Mhm.
and it hurts many who are innocent.
Mhm.
So
So during these periods of time, it's really important to try to stay in some sort of balance.
that's so important.
We've been told that humanity will not be able to have complete balance until all these earth changes have taken effect and earth is able to rebalance herself, because we can't balance ourselves in a field that's out of balance. So the field has to be corrected, and it is being corrected now. Everything is being brought into balance, but we have to try to at least align ourselves to these changes, prepare, and to be able to ride it out, put ourselves in a location that's going to be more safe, and and to be able to have some seeds at minimum. Dry beans is good because you can plant them and generate more. You can cook them, and you can eat the sprouts, and it doesn't take sunlight. You can just have it near some warmth and water.
And try to bring yourself together when you are in complete control of yourself, where you do not blame others for something that you have no control over. Then you can be able to visualize others and unite with them. You cannot unite with other humans and understand their points of view unless you release your ideologies and point of view and try to become neutral, because you're going to cause yourself undue influence and imbalance. You've got
These
to release that and forget, do not blame yourself for anything except what you caused. Outside of what you caused, do not blame governments, continents, God, creator, anyone else when you created your own path. So you've got to forgive yourself.
And we have to realize that we chose to be here at this time for certain lessons, for this enormous change. We each have our own individual paths that we chose.
Yeah.
We had our parents we chose. So
Some you look
we
back and
have
say,
to
why didn't I
accept,
choose those parents? By what they've done to me? Okay.
but we learn things, right? You don't get out of this life without learning. And that's the whole reason why we're here. This is an experiential learning field. And so we have to accept responsibility for our own decisions, and stop pointing the finger at everyone else,
Yeah, quit blaming
and
everyone else for your own problems.
including the government,
Yeah,
because it all offers us the lessons that we need to learn.
yeah,
So when you look at it, instead of criticizing, look at it from the viewpoint, what do we need to learn
yeah.
from
You
this?
can only control what you begin the path on. You can't control something that you have no control over.
Mhm.
So
But we can learn from it.
yes,
And so we are approaching some very precarious times. We oftentimes, I think, as channelers, tend to soften the blow. And, we're not the only ones. Most channelers will try to not stir up fear, and we don't want to stir up fear. But
but we've got
at the
to say the
same
facts.
at the same time, we have to be truthful enough to let people know what is really expected so that they can adequately prepare. And without giving full disclosure, we're not um, we're not providing the adequate knowledge, um,
You got to prepare
so that
yourself
so that
mentally.
people know what to prepare for. And so this is it, guys. We are running out of time. And if you think that you're going to wait for more signs to evolve, you may be putting yourselves in, a very precarious situation. This is the time to prepare. Get your dry beans
Well,
stocked.
not only physical, you have to prepare yourself mentally
Hmm.
of what's coming. In
Yes.
other words, the various deaths around the world is going to increase dramatically. Once you accept what the world is going to offer, because you cannot change that, then
Yeah.
you can accept yourself, and then you can prepare physically for the different things we're talking about: the water, the beans, the plants, etc.
If you have the land to do it, prepare it for garden. Um, Prepare to be able to have a clean source of water. Get out of the West Coast, any coastlines. You need to be away from water sources because of rising sea levels, tsunamis, major earthquakes. All these things are going to affect the earth and, our place in
Yeah,
it.
we've been warning about volcanic activity, especially under the ocean, where the fish are going to end up turning over.
There'll be
We
boiling
have, yeah,
areas.
we have been
And
warning for some years now, and now it's happening. Volcanoes, undersea volcanoes around the world are beginning to awaken. So with that, we have to prepare the outcome.
Mhm. And so, if you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comments below. We are not trying to stir up fear. We're trying to let people know exactly what to expect so that you can prepare adequately to ride this out. And we also need to unite with our neighbors and get to know them and be prepared to help each other out.
Right, and
Yeah.
have the creator within you to bow before the Creator humbly and ask the Creator to help you go through this and to maintain your sanity through all this.
Mhm. Um, it's important to know that this is all being done for a reason. Even the chaos within humanity has a purpose, and that is to strip away our misperceptions so that we will be eventually open to learning what the truth is. So we just have to write it out. Everything has a purpose at this point. The earth shifting, that's all to rebalance the earth to create a new field for the next cycle. And that cycle is, all the cycles are directly tied to the learning that we will be um, having access to in this sphere. Just have faith in the fact that the creator is in control of all this. This has been planned for thousands of years, and all these changes are upon us now. So if you haven't prepared, time to do it.
Yeah. So with that, I'd like to say thank you for listening. And we'll come in part two of atmospheric changes very soon. We'll be putting out a video.
Yeah, the second part of the atmospheric changes, which is really interesting. It gets into Nibiru and some conspiracies and things like that.
Yeah,
So
okay.
if you're into that, just look for the next one. Thank you for joining us. Peace be with you on your journey to enlightenment. Have a great week.